Welcome back everyone to more of our custom career mode and career experience. And we're coming off a fantastic race. That was tons of fun at Michigan. We're still in the process of learning and feeling out this Cup car, trying to figure out what we want to do with the setup, what works best. It's been pretty loose so far, but I'm okay with that because I'd rather be loose than tight, because tight is just not as fun to drive as long as we can keep the looseness under control. But we're building our notebook on the setups and we're working on it. The biggest thing about the Michigan race was we were just inside the top 15 before a late race caution. We had a decision to make. Do we pit for fresh tires, which mean a lot? Or do we not pit? Do we just try to maintain our position? We decided to pit. We went to the back of the field and passed a lot of cars in what ended up being a one-lap shootout. I was actually beginning to get worried we weren't going back to green. We were going to end up with a finish at the very back of the field, but we ended up passing so many cars on that last lap, and it was a ton of fun. If we'd have had a few more laps there, there's no telling how far toward the front we could have gotten. So let's go ahead and start out by putting in our numbers for Michigan, and then we'll talk about where we're going in today's video. So we started in last place, which I believe is 29th now. I'm actually in the process of trying to get rid of some cars from the AI car set. And the reason is, in order to do VR racing, based on what my computer can handle, I need to have no more than 23 or 24 cars in the car set. And right now, I simply haven't been able to bring myself to delete enough cars to get us there. But we'll get there eventually. It just might take me a little while. So we started last, and our finish, well, it would have been 13th. That's where we actually finished in the race, but because of our relative performance, we need to take 25 off of that. And so we actually finished 38th. Now, this is why relative performance is so fun for me. It's because of how it affects the money. Now, obviously on the track, we had a ton of fun. We finished 13th, and that allowed us to keep that part separate. There's a lot of ways you can use relative performance, but that's why I really enjoy keeping things separate when I'm running races versus here in the spreadsheet itself. So 38th means that we made about 45 grand, a little bit more than we made in race one, but overall, we'll take that. We're just getting started in the Cup Series. So where we're spending our time and our money right now is building up our super late model program. So as we scroll over, of course, expenses, we don't have to worry about any of those because, well, we don't have a driver right now that we've hired. The one thing we do need to take care of is over here in the marketing, which I've actually already done, the copy paste, the values, just to make sure that in the future, when we do get around to upgrading that marketing to get better sponsorships, that we will actually not update all of the races before that and dump a lot of cost into the spreadsheet. So I've already taken care of that for you guys. We don't have any driver salary. And you can see that at the end of the day, we come home making almost 25 grand. Now that is a terribly small amount. Yes, we're happy to have the $24,000 in profit, just like we were happy to have the $22,000 in the first race. But remember, if we have any chassis damage, the minimum chassis damage is $137,000. That would put us over 100 grand into the red for that race. We cannot afford any chassis damage at this marketing level. That's why marketing level is so vital, that you upgrade it to the maximum for the series. And if you can't get to the maximum, get as close as you can to it. Right now, if we scroll back over, you can see here, we're at level 12. The maximum for the Cup Series is actually 15. And if we come back over to the home screen, here's where we are. Here's level 12. And then if you're wondering, where is the maximum marketing level for a particular series? That's found under Series Financials here in column Q. And for the Cup Series, the only one that you're allowed to get all the way to 15. Anything below that we currently have in the spreadsheet, we're good to go. We would max out and then some on the vast majority of these. But now that we have our Cup Series taken care of, we'll be back in just a moment to talk about today's race. But first, we need to hop over to those super late models, which have me so excited because I love the ownership side of a career mode. And the way I've laid out this spreadsheet, it gives you tons of opportunities to become an owner in a lot of different series and own a lot of cars. So last video, we ran a total of 4 races just so that I could show you guys sort of how that process works of generating race finishes and so on. But now, not only did we get our initial races in the books for the super late models, we ended this portion of our last video by picking up another driver. We now have Carson Quapple on the team. Now he's a level 17, which is a level 2 for the super late models. So again, just to reiterate, if you're not familiar and you haven't watched the dedicated videos to the career experience, each series has a total of 5 driver levels. In the case of super late models, level 16 is their tier 1. Their highest level. So that means 17 would be 1 level below that. So now, as we're ready to generate a couple more race finishes here in today's video, well, we're going to be generating 3 race finishes. So that means that we've been doing levels 16 and 21 since those were both the top levels for their tier, as you can see by your dividing lines here. But now we need to do 16, 17, and 21. So we get 2 tier 1s and a tier 2 for their series. All of these areas are generated the same way. It's all level 1 through 5 in all of the areas. So let's go ahead and refresh the spreadsheet. So I'm going to press F9 and let's see what we get. So we get a 10, a 7, and a 4. Wow, very nice. 10, 7, and a 4. So Iowa, which is a standard event. So we're going to do 10, 7, and a 4. But there's one more thing that we need to do for this particular race, and that's generate a sponsor for Team 3. That's something we did not do in our last video, so we'll go ahead and do that now. So we'll hop over, and you can see it's very mad at me right now because it knows there should be a sponsor here. So we're going to go ahead and generate that right now. We'll click the button and see what we get. So immediately I see 28,000, that's out. 12,000, oof, we definitely don't want that one. 33,000, which is not terrible, but what we want is right here. Rockstar Games stepping up and putting out some money. So let's go ahead, grab that one. We'll do a little copy paste here. Again, paste values, and that will make our spreadsheet very happy. So as I mentioned in the dedicated videos where I go over the career experience and how everything works, if you find error messages where you're not sure why, then it's probably because you forgot to input some data. Just like you saw here, it was giving us an error message because it knew we were supposed to have a sponsor there for our 3rd team and we hadn't yet done that. All right, so now we have our finishes in there, and this is amazing. In the past, in testing this, I have never gotten this many great finishes. Even though we have great drivers, it seems like I get several of these, which really stresses me out because it costs us money in chassis repairs. But right now, we are doing fantastic. We're making tons of money off of these races, so that's why I want to keep doing them. Let's press our luck. I mean, why not? We've only had one time where we had chassis damage. Definitely cost us some money, but let's go ahead and finish up things here. And for that, I need to copy down our driver's salary. And there you can see, definitely the salary is going up, and we made 82 grand off of that race. Yes, please. That is what I like to see, because that's what's going to allow us to keep expanding. All right, so we got that. We've got no chassis damage today. And so now we need to generate one more. I like doing at least a couple of these races each video because I love it, as if you couldn't tell. So let's go generate one more race. Again, we're going to use 16, 17, and 21. So F9 to refresh. We got 5, 11, and 9. Our good luck continues. 5, 11, and 9. Although I must say, secretly, I'm kind of hoping that we will have some more of that chassis damage just so that I can show you guys how it works. All right, so that race is in the books. But as we scroll across, let's take a quick look and see where we are on our sponsors. We got 12 races remaining there, 17 here on our new Rockstar deal. Looking good. Crocs, only 5 races left, so that'll be the next marketing deal we'll need to refresh and get a new sponsor for. But otherwise, I'm extremely happy. Also, I'm extremely happy about the diversity of our sponsors. I mean, we go from Hobby Lobby to Crocs to Rockstar Games. That's quite a bit of diversity in our sponsor portfolio. So as we scroll across, once again, we need to take our driver's salary, paste values, and once again, we're making some nice money. Now keep in mind, we're making around 80 grand right now for these standard races, but we do have 3 teams and we don't have any damage. So we're getting a little spoiled right now. We start getting some damage and these numbers come down very quickly. So we're doing great right now. And let's keep in mind, what is our next goal? Well, we could go pretty much anywhere we want, but my next goal is to finish out our 4-car operation, which means that we're going to do the same thing we did last time. We need 577 grand to upgrade our building, and then we need to purchase another chassis. So over 700 grand that we need to spend. So now that we've run a couple of races, let's head back over to the home screen. We're at about 600 grand. Now, obviously, if we wanted, we'd come over here and pick up another investor if we wanted to. But I'd just rather keep it at the one investor if we can. Who knows what we might decide to do in the future. But for right now, I am ecstatic about the way the race finishes are going for our super late model team. Very impressive. Mostly impressed by the fact that we're not getting the damage. Only one episode where we had damage, and I can handle that. If that continues, we're going to make a lot of money in the super late model division. So now that we got that out of the way, let's pop back over to series number 1 and talk about Atlanta. Race number 3 for us is Atlanta. And by the way, I've only filled in the first 5 races here. I'll fill in some more as we get to them, just depending on how things are going and which tracks I would like to run next. Remember, we only have one chassis right now in the Cup Series, so we're limited to the downforce tracks, the intermediate style of tracks, mile and a half, 2 miles, you get the idea. And we're also limited to the tracks that I actually own within iRacing, so that further breaks it down for us. But Atlanta, well, it's very different than Vegas or Michigan. Vegas is smooth. It's a mile and a half for sure, but it's very smooth. You don't really have to worry about the bumps, which means that shocks aren't a big deal at Vegas unless you get right around the bottom in turns 1 and 2. Then you have to deal with the bumps some. And then you get to Michigan. Also, pretty smooth racetrack, but it is a completely different beast in how it handles. The speeds are higher and the turns are much wider, not quite the amount of banking. But then you get to Atlanta, and we're talking about old Atlanta, by the way, not the new super speedway version of Atlanta. So we're talking about a racetrack where the surface is old, it's worn out, it wears tires out, and it has tons of bumps and character. So now we've got to take what we've learned in the first 2 races and apply it to Atlanta. How well can I do? Well, we're about to find out. Welcome everyone to Atlanta Motor Speedway. Not the new super speedway version of Atlanta, but the old, worn out, slipping and sliding Atlanta, the one that I love. So we're going to have some fun today. 30-lap race against the AI at a skill spread of 80 to 110. So we're keeping that 80 to 110 spread for at least another race or 2. My goal is to be able to get just inside that top 15. And as the series progresses, we run more races, then we'll probably drop that a little bit more, give ourselves a chance to move higher into the field, that kind of thing. But right now I'm just trying to get a feel for the car, feel for the tracks, and the speed of the AI. I expect them to be extremely fast here at the drop of the green, and we'll just have to see what we can do with them. I've made several changes to the setup. In fact, pretty much wholesale changes on the front end of this car trying to change the overall feel, get some stability into this thing. I'm hoping for some long run speed, but of course, that's what we're here for, to test these ideas and see just what we've got. But 80 to 110
Getting ready here.
goal is inside the top 15, and we'll just see what the long run speed looks like. Long run within 30 laps, of course.
Pace car's leaving. Pace car's leaving.
Ooh, look at that stuff
Green,
clipping
green,
in and
green.
out. Oh, that's always nice. And some of the grandstands was clipping in and out. All right, here we go. Under green. Let's see if we can, first and foremost, keep up with these guys. If we can, then the next step will be, can we pass them? So it should be a little bit more stable here at the beginning, but of course, we're still on cold tires. So that in and of itself is going to bring about some instability.
Got one inside.
Oh, guys in the bottom got all jammed up there.
Keep it on top.
Also, the splitter is very low, so it's entirely possible that we're going to tap the ground
There's the bottom.
a little bit here at the beginning
Got one
until we get a
inside.
little pressure in those tires.
Still there.
Oh, I see trouble ahead.
Stay high.
So I tap the brakes. When I see them scattering like that, I don't like it.
Still there.
Because remember, contact and wrecks, damage, all that, it cost us a lot of money in this Cup car.
Stay high.
But we're still running 2 and 3 wide.
Clear inside. Got one inside.
So we're following this 11, and I'm trying to watch him. He's being pretty aggressive right now.
Got one outside. Stay on the bottom.
Really out of the gas early here.
Stay low.
Corner entry, just trying to be smooth. Don't want to make the tires mad this early on.
Still there. Clear outside.
I'm trying to run this bottom.
Keep to the bottom.
Oh, look out.
Stay on the bottom.
17 really lost it there, and I had
Stay
to bail.
low.
Of course, running the bottom here with these
Clear
guys
outside. Got one outside.
is easier said than done.
Still there. Clear outside.
Well, we can hang with them, but passing them is a whole different thing. I need to be on the outside, I think, to pass.
Keep to the bottom.
And right now, working this
Clear
bottom,
outside.
even though I can get the car down here and keep it down here. It's just hard to maintain the momentum.
Inside. Keep high. Keep it on top. Stay high.
Car feels
Clear
good
inside.
right now. Definitely more stable than it has been. We'll see how that
Got
works
one
out over
inside.
the long run.
Hold your line. Got one inside. Still there.
7 car.
Still there.
I wasn't expecting his behavior there. He was out of the gas and
Clear
on the
inside.
brakes pretty early there on corner entry. Or at least it felt very early to me. So we ended up 3 wide there, and I didn't really count on being 3 wide. Okay, so far so good. Now we haven't made up a lot of places on the track, but that's not really what I'm worried about right now. I was worried about being able to stick with these guys
Got one inside.
on new tires.
Keep
And
high.
so far we've been able to.
Keep it on top. Clear inside.
So searching for that clean air is going to be something we're going to need to do. And right now, unfortunately, there isn't any, unless we want to go up to the wall. And I'm not sure that I'm not sure I want to go up there right now. Because I'm not sure there's the speed up there. I could be wrong.
Outside. Keep to the bottom. Clear. Outside. to the bottom.
Oh, I think we're 4 wide. I'm backing out of it. Yeah, I bailed on that. I realized at the last second that we were already 3 wide and we're about to be 4 wide when I made that move to the bottom.
Keep slow. Clear outside.
And that just smelled like
outside.
the wrong thing to do.
Keep to the bottom. Still there.
Still can't make up any time down here on the bottom.
Got one outside.
Car feels good down here. I mean, you can see I can stick it to this white line pretty good and can be pretty aggressive with that throttle, but I cannot complete the pass.
Stay on the bottom. 20 to go straight. Stay low.
So we'll keep at
To
it.
the bottom.
And mainly I'm hoping that we can get old Ricky Stenhouse out here
Clear.
to make a mistake or take the bottom.
Got one inside. Keep it on top.
So that we can do this.
Clear.
Appreciate it, Ricky. Happy to swap spots with you, let you run that bottom lane. More than happy to let you do that, quite frankly. But yeah, car's definitely very stable. And so far, hey, as long as we're moving forward, I'm a
Got
happy
one
man.
inside. Keep high. Stay right there. Clear inside.
Number 3, we've been behind Austin Dillon, I feel like, multiple times already.
Keep it on
Unless I'm
top.
mistaking him for another car in the field, I feel like
Stay
we've been
high.
behind him multiple times on the bottom. So he's going to run that bottom
Stay right there.
for all it's worth.
Clear
Teammate,
inside.
I see the 8 down here as well.
Inside.
Ooh, looks like Bubba got down there and immediately hit the brakes.
Stay high.
It's fun to see this behavior, this human-like behavior out of the AI.
Stay right there. Clear to the bottom.
Oh, Bubba decided to stay up top here. I was certainly not
Still
expecting that.
Keep high.
Again, human-like behavior.
Clear inside.
All right, so we've cleared a little bit of traffic. Things are at least single file in front of us up there. Our next task, as we're 15 laps into this, is to see if we can run down these guys in front of us. And pull ahead of the guys from behind us. That is what we're going to find out, because we're getting into the part of the run where the tires, we've lost some grip to them. Okay, they're no longer for Mr. Feelgood. We're not Superman anymore in these tires. We're having to lift on corner entry a good bit, actually.
Keep digging.
I'm using just a little bit of brake on corner entry to try to settle the nose, try to help this thing rotate a little bit sooner. All right, that was actually a pretty good entry. Entering a little bit high, about a lane off the bottom. Trying to get this thing to turn a little bit from there with a little bit of brake, right back to the throttle. You can be very aggressive in the throttle with this setup, and that is something we haven't been able to say up until now. Alright, make sure he's going to the bottom and we're going to stay there.
Still there.
We should be able to take this position.
Clear.
I like it. Lap 18 and we're still gaining positions.
inside.
Oh, we got to our inside right there. He had a
Stay
very
high.
good corner entry there.
Still there.
Let's see if we can nail turn 1 like we did last
Still
time.
there. Keep it on top.
Oh, hello. You're trying to get us a little run there. A little friendly love tap
Keep it on
there.
top.
Wow.
Clear.
Okay, he drove that thing in there hard. I cannot do that. I drove it in pretty hard up in that middle groove, and he drove it in even deeper on the bottom.
Outside. Clear.
Well, maybe I can do that. No, I wouldn't want to do that every lap. But it did work there. We were able to get by, but we need to pull away. There are more cars up here that I want to pass. And I want to see if we've got the speed to do it. Alright, car's getting a little twitchy. On exit, still not bad. I'm still in the gas, full throttle. I'm just, at this point, I'm having to... Oh, hello. Alright, that was perhaps a little bit looser than I wanted to be on entry. I was coming off the wall there trying to arc it in, and the car said, that's probably not the best idea.
Inside.
Oh, there's no room there, 43.
Keep it on top. Still there.
There was no room there. He was about to make some room on the bottom.
Still there. Clear inside. Got one inside.
You can hear me working that throttle. The car's definitely gotten tight, but it's still
Stay
not
high.
terrible. I can't say that it's awful tight and it's,
Still there.
you know, like it has been. Like right there, I drove that thing in there pretty good, and he drove it in even deeper.
Still there.
So I have to hand it to him. He didn't quite get off the corner like we did. He's in the wrong groove for that.
Still there. Clear. Got one inside.
Decided to go up a little bit higher
Stay high.
on corner entry and the exit this time. Let's just run this higher groove. Just see if we can make it happen here.
Got one inside. Keep high.
I mean, I can run it up there, but it's just not, as you can see, it's just not fast. So we gave it a shot up there. Still not sure I'm done with that. That groove is very enticing to me. Especially as loose as we are on the entry of 1. But overall, I have to say, the setup is a lot better. I can drive it a lot harder when I need to,
Inside.
and it's stable.
Stay right
So
there.
I'm not spending the entire corner trying to keep from wrecking it, like we were at Vegas for sure,
Clear inside.
and to an extent
5 laps to
at
go.
Michigan. All right, last 5 laps. But here I am, this deep into the run, and I'm fighting it as I would expect to, but it is nowhere near as bad as it has been.
Got one inside.
Oh, didn't get the car to
Still there.
rotate there.
Clear.
Yep, didn't quite get it to rotate, so running high there was against us rather than helping us. Yeah, building up just a little bit too tight. But keep in mind where we are in the run. We are just a few laps from the end. This was happening to us much earlier in the
Outside.
run.
3 wide. You're the meat. Clear outside.
Feel like we got a little bit of... Oh, we got a tap there.
Still there. Clear.
All right, guys. There's only so much room here. 3 wide shouldn't be a problem, except y'all are henpecking on my rear bumper.
Got one inside.
And there's only so much of that I can take.
Stay right there. Stay right there.
So I think Austin Dillon got the worst of that.
Clear to the bottom. 2 laps to go.
All right, so once again, we got right up to the top 15. I don't remember exactly how far we got because, well, I was kind of busy when we made it up that far. And then we've lost some spots here, so we're back to 18th right now. So that tells me that we had to be inside the top 15. 15th or 14th is my guess. We're still hanging in there. This thing is still building tight, but I have to say it is not as bad as it has been in the past. So I will take it as we cross the line to finish it up. 18th position. Doesn't sound great,
We'll get them next
but
time.
yeah, speaking from the driver's perspective and how the car felt and all that kind of thing, I have to say that was better. The setup was better. The long run speed was better. It's still, I still can't compete with the AI on the long run. Their tires just don't fall off like mine do, and that was the best it's been so far. But yeah, they're going to obliterate me. Keep in mind that was only 30 laps. I mean, if you're talking about a full fuel run, we've got no shot. We'll be dead last by the end of it. So, still a lot of questions that I'm trying to answer. I really, really want to do some longer races, but I am very encouraged by today's result. So as we finish up the video today, thank you guys so much for joining me, and stick around for more custom career mode and career experience.
Go.